2021 afternoon session. For the people that are on Zoom, please put your devices on mute. I will tell you to unmute when I call your case. For the people in the courtroom, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of you right now. If you'll come forward to station number 1, Enrique Valdivia, just right there, station number 1. All right. The city attorney says that because you complied with the terms and conditions that we discussed at your last hearing, he's reducing your charge to a 0-point charge of driving a vehicle with an obstructed windshield and dismissing the original charge against you. Is this how you wish to resolve your case today? Okay. And are you his mother? Okay. Let me have your name, please. Say it again more slowly. Okay. And is it Valdivia as well? Enriquez? Do you understand the original charge that was filed against your son? And you understand the reduced charge that the city attorney is offering your son in an effort to resolve this case? Do you agree that your son is acting in his best interest by accepting this resolution and pleading guilty to this reduced charge? You need to say yes a little bit louder. Yes. Thank you. Everything's being recorded. That's why I'm asking. Enrique, the last time you were here, did you watch the advisement of rights video? All right. Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to be represented by an attorney in this case? You're also waiving your right to be presumed innocent of the original charge unless and until the city attorney is able to establish your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, because by pleading guilty to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to have a trial. Do you understand that? You're giving up your rights to confront and cross-examine any witnesses that the city attorney would call in support of the original charge against you. You're giving up your right to present evidence on your own behalf, including calling witnesses on your own behalf, and if your witnesses would not appear in court voluntarily, to have the court issue subpoenas for you free of charge, which could then be used by you to have your witnesses ordered to appear on the date of your trial. You're giving up your rights during the course of your trial to testify or to remain silent, and if it was your choice to remain silent, the fact that you did so could not and would not be used against you to establish your guilt. If at the end of the trial you were found guilty of the original charge, you would have the right to appeal that conviction to a higher court. Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this 0-point charge, you're giving up all of those trial and appeal-related rights? Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this charge against your will? Has anyone forced you to plead guilty against your will? Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea? Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today? Okay, are you able to understand everything I'm telling you?
Yeah, he has a speech problem, so when we speak too fast, he can get it.
Okay, that's fine. And if you're not clear, just ask me and I'll repeat it, okay? Then how do you plead to the charge of driving a vehicle with an obstructed windshield, a 0-point violation on January 3rd of 2021 here in Commerce City? Guilty or not guilty? All right, I will accept your guilty plea. Is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you? Okay. Right, but it wasn't even your fault, right? It was the other car? You were just driving a vehicle without insurance, right? Do you still have your permit or do you have a license yet? Still have the permit? Okay. All right. I'm not going to impose a fine. It's going to be $29 in court costs only. If you'll go to the window, see my clerks, they'll tell you the total, or they'll collect the $29 from you, and that'll close the case out. Okay? Thank you. Uh-huh. All right. Court's on the record regarding Wayne Sanders. Mr. Sanders and Mr. Lawrence? Yep.
Yes.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Lane Lawrence, 42762 on behalf of Mr. Sanders.
And is Mr. Sanders, is that you in the car?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I have a document, Mr. Lawrence, that indicates that if Mr. Sanders pleads guilty to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation, the city attorney will dismiss the original charge against him. Is that a correct statement of the proposed disposition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Sanders, have you had enough time to consult with Mr. Lawrence regarding the options available to you on the original charge in this case?
I did.
And are you satisfied with the service, advice, and representation that he's given you thus far in this matter?
Absolutely.
Okay, and Mr. Lawrence, would you waive further reading and advisement with regard to Mr. Sanders' rights?
We would, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sanders, has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this reduced charge against your will?
No, they did not.
Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No, they did not.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today?
No, I'm not.
Then, to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation on January 14th of 2021 here in Commerce City. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty.
Thank you. Mr. Lawrence, would you waive the necessity of the establishment of a factual basis to support the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
With that, I will accept the guilty plea. Anything by way of mitigation?
Just, Your Honor, that this was he turned left on a yellow light, taking the right of way of someone, and there was an accident. The vehicle was insured. He works in construction as a pipe welder. It happened after a long day's work. Admittedly, sorry that the accident occurred. Thankful that no one was seriously injured. There were some injuries, and it's hopeful that they're recovering. And so I don't think that he's going to want to be in this situation again. So he's going to take steps to never be here again.
All right. And Mr. Sanders, is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you?
I think Mr. Lane said it all.
I'm showing a violation from March of 2020 in Adams County. Is that entry correct, Mr. Sanders?
A violation from March.
Of 2020. Everything else is too old. There's one from January, which is just a little bit too old, but the one from March is within a calendar year.
What would that be? I had a ticket. I had a no headlight ticket, and I had a speeding ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it. It looks like it's probably a speeding ticket. Okay, that's fine. Your scheduled fine in this case is $280. I'm going to go ahead and reduce your fine to $200. It has to be an aggravated fine because of the moving violation within the calendar year and also the aggravated nature of the accident in this case. So your fine is going to be reduced to $200 plus surcharges plus court costs. My clerks are going to contact you by email, and they'll obviously copy Mr. Lawrence on this. They'll tell you what the total is. If you need them to, they'll work out a payment plan for you. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, I appreciate it, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Lawrence, is there anything else I need to address on this case?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, my clerks will get with you by email either today or tomorrow to work out the payment arrangements. You guys can go ahead and leave the meeting, and that'll conclude matters on this case.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jalen Armijo, if you would unmute your device, please.
Good afternoon.
Okay, let's see. I have a document that indicates that if she pleads guilty to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation on February 8th of 2021 at about 10:15 in the evening in the area of 76th and Highway 2, the city attorney will dismiss the original speeding charge against her. Jalen, is this how you wish to resolve your case today?
Sir.
Okay, I just need you to very clearly say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And sir, are you her father?
Yes.
And can I have your name?
Jack Armijo.
I'm sorry, what was your first name?
Jack.
Okay, thank you. And do you understand what it is that your daughter's original charge was?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the reduced charge that the city attorney is offering her in an effort to resolve this case?
Yes.
Do you agree that your daughter is acting in her best interest by accepting this resolution and pleading guilty to this reduced charge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Jalen, did you take the opportunity to review the advisement of rights video?
No.
You haven't watched the video? All right. I'm going to pass your matter for a few minutes. You and your father should watch the advisement of rights video. You can find the link at commercecitycourts.com. It's the advisement of rights video. It's mandatory. I have to have you watch it before I can take the disposition. Okay? So go ahead and mute your device. Go watch the video. When you finish watching it, just wave at me or something, and then I'll recall your case. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. So we'll pass this matter for a few minutes. All right, Serenity Christensen, if you would unmute your device.
Yes, this is her mom.
Okay.
She's here as well.
All right. The city attorney says that we need to cancel the warrant and set this for another pretrial so that you can get the discovery on this case from him, and he can get video discovery from you.
That is correct. There's only a warrant because there was technical difficulties on my behalf with the clerk that I didn't realize the attachment. So I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead and take care of that. All right, and it looks like you all watched the advisement video back in January at the very first hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. We're going to set this matter then for a continued pretrial conference. I vacated the warrant. We're going to set this for, how does April 15th work for you? It's a Thursday.
It works perfect. Thank you.
All right, we'll do April 15th at 1:15. You'll receive a notice from my clerks. The city attorney, did you receive his email or did he give him?
Yes. I have his email and I'm going to send him the videos today.
All right, that'll work then. All right, so April 15th at 1:15, you can go ahead and leave the meeting. And then once you're done with the meeting, my clerks will send you the notice of the new court date, and we'll make sure the prosecutor follows through with the discovery. Do you have any questions?
Is this a virtual or an in-person attendance?
It can be virtual.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? All right, so you can go ahead and leave the meeting at this time.
Okay, thank you. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Uh-huh. All right, Adam Soltero, if you would unmute your device.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, I have a document that alleges that on January 24th of 2021 at 10:30 in the morning in the area of 77th and Highway 2 here in Commerce City, it's alleged that you drove 60 miles an hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. That's a 4-point violation, and drove without proof of insurance when required. That is also a 4-point violation. Do you understand the charges against you?
Yes, sir.
All right, the city attorney first is asking me to set aside the default that entered when you failed to appear on March 11th. I'm going to go ahead and grant that request. I'll vacate that default. Second, he says that we need to set this for a pretrial conference so that you can try to investigate the insurance issue. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and do that. My clerks will be getting in contact with you with the new court date. Make sure you get everything that you need to have so that we can get this case resolved on your next appearance date, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
All right, so you can go ahead and leave the meeting, and my clerks will be in contact with you either today or tomorrow with the new court date, all right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark.
Right, Juan de la Rosa, if you would go ahead and unmute your device.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I have a document that indicates that if you plead guilty to the added reduced charge of speeding 55 in a 45 mile per hour zone, a 4-point violation, the city attorney will dismiss both of the original charges against you. Is this how you wish to resolve your case today?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that you're in the comfort of your own home doing this on video, but I'm still treating this as open court, so can I have you remove the ball cap, please? Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, I have you watched the advisement of rights video?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to be represented by an attorney in this case?
Yes.
You're also waiving your right to be presumed innocent of both of the original charges unless and until the city attorney is able to establish your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, because by pleading guilty to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to have a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're giving up your rights to confront and cross-examine any witnesses that the city attorney would call in support of the original charge against you. You're giving up your right to present evidence on your own behalf, including calling witnesses on your own behalf, and if your witnesses would not appear in court voluntarily, to have the court issue subpoenas for you free of charge, which could then be used by you to have your witnesses ordered to appear on the date of your trial. You're giving up your rights during the course of a trial to testify or to remain silent, and if it was your choice to remain silent, the fact that you did so could not and would not be used against you to establish your guilt. If at the end of the trial you were found guilty of the original charge, you would have the right to appeal that conviction to a higher court. Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you're giving up all of those trial and appeal-related rights?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this reduced charge against your will?
No.
Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today?
No.
Then to the added reduced charge of speeding 55 in a 45 zone, a 4-point violation on February 1st of 2021 at about 8:30 in the evening in the area of 62nd and Quebec Street here in Commerce City. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'll accept your guilty plea. Anything you want to tell me that I should consider before I impose the sentence against you?
No, that should be it.
Okay. Your driving record shows you got a ticket in Commerce City just in January of this year. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. That's, 2 tickets in 2 months is not a good thing. You recognize that, right?
Yeah.
All right. You need to slow down. Your scheduled fine in this case is now $200. I'm going to go ahead and lower it down to $160 plus surcharges and court costs. But if you get another ticket, in the next 6 months or so, I'm going to make you do a driving class, which will basically help you to focus on what you're doing when you're behind the wheel. You know you can't go that fast on Highway 2. The only place you can go that fast is like on an interstate highway, all right? So you need to slow down.
Okay.
All right. Now, when you leave the meeting, my clerks are going to get in contact with you by email. They'll tell you what the total is. If you need them to, they'll work out a payment plan for you. Do you have any questions?
No, it's okay.
All right. You can go ahead and leave the meeting.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. You can go ahead and unmute, Jalen. Or Mr. Armijo, Jack Armijo. Go ahead and unmute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at trying to find the video here. I'm not able to find it here on the Commerce City page here. Is there a certain site I can go to?
Yeah, it should just have a link to video advisement or advisement video. You're in the Commerce City Courts website?
Yeah, I'm on the courts and fines page here. Let's see
Carmen?
here.
He says he's not able to find the video. Yeah, that's where he says court fees and fines, right?
Yeah, I'm on courts and
And then
fines.
halfway down the page, there should be a link to the video. Isn't it highlighted like in blue or something? No?
Because it asked when we were signing up this morning, it asked if we had watched the video, and I put no. And I thought they would send a link over so we can watch it before the court. And it didn't get anything.
Yeah, no, usually if you enter no, it kind of directs you to where the link is. And you're saying you can't
Right.
find the link now?
Yeah, I'm reading. I got court overview, court status, and then it gives me virtual hearings to apply for, like we did this morning. We got all that done. Please, let's see, video, audio prior to hearing. How to test your video and audio. Public remote hearings, Commerce City Municipal Court YouTube, before court appearance. Do not watch or hear the video, you must.
When you click no on registration, doesn't it send you to the page where the link is? Don't know.
If you can watch it, you must read it, sorry.
I'm going to go over to my clerk's computer for just a second and see if I can find out exactly where it is on that page.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit this, and then
Mhm.
you click on court fines and fees,
Mm-hmm.
and then you scroll down, and you're right there.
Oh, okay. All right. Scroll down.
Okay.
You're going to see a picture that looks just like me with an arrow on it. Do you see that?
Yes. Yep.
Click that. That's the video.
Oh, okay. I'm looking for a whole nother link, but yep, that's
Yeah,
it.
no, it's actually the first page of the video. It's a picture of me. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to go ahead and mute my own. You're the last person I have, but it's required that you watch that. So go ahead and watch it, and then
Okay. Thank you.
like I said, wave at me when you're done, and I'll call your case back up. You're the last one on video today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, court's back on the record regarding Jalen Armijo. You've now watched the advisement of rights video, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So again, the document I have says that if you plead guilty to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation, on February 8th of 2021, shortly at about 10:15 at night in the area of 76th and Highway 2, the city attorney will dismiss the original speeding charge against you. And again, Jalen, is this how you wish to resolve your case today?
Yes.
And again, Jack Armijo, as her father, do you agree that your daughter is acting in her best interest by accepting this resolution and pleading guilty to this reduced charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jalen, do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to be represented by an attorney in this case?
Yes.
You're also waiving your right to be presumed innocent of the original charge unless and until the city attorney is able to establish your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, because by pleading guilty to this reduced charge, you're waiving your right to have a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to confront and cross-examine any witnesses that the city attorney would call in support of the original charge against you. You're giving up your right to present evidence on your own behalf, including calling witnesses on your own behalf, and if your witnesses would not appear in court voluntarily, to have the court issue subpoenas for you free of charge, which could then be used by you to have your witnesses ordered to appear on the date of your trial. You're giving up your rights during the course of a trial to testify or to remain silent, and if it was your choice to remain silent, the fact that you did so could not and would not be used against you to establish your guilt. If at the end of the trial you were found guilty of the original charge, you would have the right to appeal that conviction to a higher court. Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you are giving up all of those trial and appeal-related rights?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this reduced charge against your will?
No, sir.
Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No, sir.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today?
No, sir.
Then, as to the charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation, on February 8th of 2021 here in Commerce City, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will accept your guilty plea. Is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you?
No, sir.
Is there anything you want to tell me about your daughter that I should take into consideration?
It was late night at work. She was getting out of work late in King Supers. She's been working for over about a year through the pandemic and stuff. She just needs to pay attention where she's at. The signs around her speed limits. It does go up to 45 a mile down the road, but she needs to pay attention to those signs while she's out and about.
Okay. All right, Jalen, looking at where you live, I got to tell you that Highway 2, for the most part, is a 45 till you get into the older part of the city, which is where you were at, and it drops to a 35. Tower Road, a 45. Highway 85, when you're in Commerce City, is a 45. Pretty much everywhere where you come down from Brighton, it's going to be 45 slowing to 35 in some places, even Quebec Street. So you got to be real careful to pay attention to the speed limit signs, okay? This looks like it's your
Yes,
first
sir.
ticket, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, your schedule fine's $120, but I'm going to reduce it all the way down to $60 plus surcharges and court costs. Now, when you leave the meeting, my clerks are going to get into contact with you either today or tomorrow. They're going to tell you what the total is, and if you need them to, they'll work out a payment plan for you. Do either of you have any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, you can go ahead and leave the meetings. My clerks will be in contact with you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You as well.
are you guys leaving the screen down? Just 'cause it's easier?
Broken.
Oh, it's broken?
Yeah. That's why I remember last week when I was in here and Alma tried putting the screen down and it kind of took forever and then I was like, I don't think we need it. It was broken down, but we thought it was just warming up,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that it wasn't working. So Tuesday, Rick came in and was talking to Alma because she was in here in the office. And he was like, the screen's broke. When was the last time you guys used it? And we're like, oh, we used it for the trial the week before. And he's like, and it worked? And they were like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'm trying to figure out who broke it. And we're like, well, it wasn't us because we tried using it last Thursday and we thought it was just waiting to warm up. He goes, so it wouldn't work then? And we're like, no. So he's like, so when was the last time you used it? We said the week before.
You figure they might have had a training in here?
So so he was trying to figure out who was using it last. So now he told us, well, I hope you guys don't need it for any trials this week because it's broken. And I was like, yeah, we shouldn't need it. So we were hoping that was the case. So, yeah, they're trying to fix it. And I think that's what that other laptop is over there. They're trying to get that figured out.
Mm-mm.
So in our neighborhood, we have a lot of neighbors with babies, and finally the grandparents can visit. So everyone has grandparents over. Snow again?
Tomorrow.
So I just notified them that there's two huge potholes on eastbound 88th, one on each side of I-76, right? I think the one on the west side's not in Commerce City. I think it's unincorporated Adams County. But the one on the east side is in Commerce City. And so they're asking me to put in my contact information. Should I add the word judge or not?
Yes.
No, that's the one thing I cannot do. God, you guys fail the ethics.
What's the point of being a judge?
Exactly. Then what's the point of you telling them? They're not going to listen.
I tell them at the Brighton Dentist that I'm the city prosecutor and I know what kind of car they drive.
All right, so court phone number is 289, what is it? 3640. I never call it, so.
I just remember I used to call Lynn and she'd always answer, and now no one ever answers. I never know who's here. How will we know when this young person?
No, what she should have done is just gone to school, used the computer at school, and done it from there.
And she would have to go over there, and I don't think they let her in school because of COVID.
Oh, good point.
They have to be together.
Good point.
I mean, unless they sign up separate.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that same thing too, and then I'm like, well, you shouldn't have to leave work, but then, yeah.
Oh, no, good point. I get it. I keep forgetting about COVID. Hmm?
Darn code.
There's a lot of things that will never go back to normal. I mean, they will never probably go back to doing just in-person arraignments. What would be the point? I mean, and if people are waiting for an hour for their case to be called, why not do it in the comfort of their own home rather than here?
Your office.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give that lawyer any shit for not wearing a tie?
No. I make people take their hats off, though.
Yeah, I heard that, but I was just wondering that lawyer wasn't wearing a tie.
Yeah, well, and I had a judge in Douglas County. You have to wear a suit. You have to wear a coat and tie. You know, I take off my coat when I get to my office and hang it behind my door. And so then I'm in my office doing it, and then I heard her say that to the other attorney. So I walked back to my office, put on my coat, and sat down in my conference room.
I just remember going to Mesa County when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
Bolo ties, jeans, cowboy boots.
Mark Crawford. You just described Mark Crawford. Bolo ties.
My problem was cowboy boots are never appropriate for someone like me.
In a suit.
I just look
Cowboy
like
boots.
a goofball.
They would look like a
They'd be
canoe
like
on
clown
your.
shoes. They'd be like clown
We-
shoes.
There are people who wear cowboy boots all the time. I got a kick when Ken Salazar started wearing his cowboy hat, too. And his brother John is really the potato farmer, and he doesn't wear a cowboy hat.
I still am so in awe that you could grow a potato in that ground in Alamosa.
That's the number one crop.
I know. I'm just in
Quinoa,
awe.
quinoa is the quinoa, however you say it.
Growing shit in cement.
Right. What is it? Quinoa? Whatever that other.
Vanilla?
Quinoa? I don't know.
Oh.
It,
Oh.
that tiny little.
Like that commercial?
Right, the little seed stuff. Right.
Yeah.
How do you say it? That's the number two crop in the valley. Potatoes are number one.
I'm in awe that you can survive.
Yeah, and then dry bean farming is big down there, but it's potatoes first, then that quinoa, and then, you know, I don't know what else, but it's evident. I mean, agriculture's number one down there.
I know.
They run cattle down there, and I'm like, how do you guys run cattle with no water?
Here's your drop of water for the wheat potato.
Well,
Make it work.
here's the other thing. They have, like, I want to say 16 cooperative water districts. Each one of those is an experiment, and the experiment's about to come to an end. The state engineer may take over the water allocation because the last time we've had drought down there a long time, but the last time they had over amount, they were supposed to use it to replenish the aquifer. No, people ran their pumps for longer all over the place, stealing water, which is in essence what's going on, so that they could grow more crops and make up for the losses they suffered in the drought. It's like nobody cared about long term, they all wanted theirs. You know, I want to make my profit.
One person goes for theirs, then everyone
Everybody else does. So all of the excess got depleted.